Hey guys, how's it going? I wasn't really expecting to make a little video about this today, but the reviews are slowly coming in for Propaganda Day. Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg. And interesting because I think a lot of these people reviewing this film are doing it with very normie eyes, which is interesting because I think that's what this film is aimed at. This film is like, if you're like me, and I'm sure you are, if you're on a page called Cats and Conspiracies, you've been down this rabbit hole for years. All right. You can slag David Icke off all you want, but he's been writing about this stuff for 20 years. And I've got a book in my bookshelf by David Icke where he talks about how the elites will use either World War III, aliens, or the Second Coming as a way to control us. Well, they've been pushing World War III. They're definitely pushing aliens at the minute with Trump releasing loads of stuff. And there's been so many videos coming out of, leaked UFO stories. There's been so many, so many. Even even that famous photograph. Do you remember the one? It was like in Scotland where they're taken by the two guys, the chefs, and the photograph like disappeared for 50 years or something. That's kind of made a resurgence. So there's loads of this going on, but a lot of that stuff, a lot of it has only existed like down the rabbit hole and in the sort of dark corners and amongst us, little rabbit holers that talk about this kind of stuff. The normies haven't got a clue. They haven't got a clue. If you mentioned Project Bluebeam to most people, they'll be like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't got a clue." You mentioned even things like the World Economic Forum to these normies. They haven't got a clue what you're talking about. They're literally just blinkered. They just watch the news. That's all they do. So I think this Disclosure Day, this is where they've gone to someone like Spielberg and they've said, "Look, we need you to make a movie for the normies. Okay, we need you to because they're just not getting it. They're not seeing what we're doing. Can you make a movie that brings this to the normies?" So I think that's what's going on here. Uh, there's a few reviews out there. There's no uh, non-critic reviews. They're all critic reviews. Like the embargo has been lifted, so they're all critic reviews that's coming out. But I found a couple on Rotten Tomatoes. Not my place, not my review place of choice, but these are critic reviews. But this guy's not particularly impressed. But just a couple of things in it just kind of piqued my interest. I won't read the whole thing because it does go on a little bit. So, do you know the funny thing is, it's Colin Firth for some reason. I thought it was Andy Serkis. God knows, like I did not realize that was Colin Firth at all in the trailers. I just don't care about this. To me, this is just propaganda for the normies. So, it begins with covert operations involving dangerous people engaged in shady goings on. This is just like, I think the X Files did this a long time ago and a hell of a lot better. And agitated witnesses handle classified tech. It's deemed classified, Mr. President. Plausible deniability, Mr. President. There's a quote from a far better film. History doesn't have a reset key. Actually, that's not true because history kind of resets. It's something like every 70 years, kind of resets, apparently. It's all to do with that strong men create good times create weak men create bad times create strong men, and it recycles. It takes about 70 years, apparently. People have a right to know the truth. Literally, the X-Files was doing this. So many things have done this. Strangely enough, despite the film taking a whopping 40 minutes before revealing the first hard bit of evidence about the film's subject matter, so aliens, none of what transpires is all that surprising. It's practically guessable from the start which direction this movie will go. Yeah, because for those of us that have been immersed in this for years, it's like, yeah, you're not telling us anything we didn't know, mate. So there we go. Explores questions about extraterrestrial life, but does so with an excessive amount of characters. Too many characters. It suspends disbelief right away, teasing all sorts of outer space artifacts, the silliest kinds which can do anything required in the moment, with no clear-cut limitations or definitions. People take control of one another's movements. The opening act is ludicrously overlong. Wow. For God's sake, the lead-in builds question after question without offering up answers, generating near boredom. Whoa, as the roles operate on instinct or confusion or blind adherence to commands. God, bored reading this. Right, here we go. The thesis of Disclosure Day is whether or not humankind would be capable of functioning after learning about the existence of space aliens. If presented with irrefutable proof, would society suddenly collapse, or would they espouse the newfound enlightenment? These days, with the normies, I think they'd do this. They'd go, and that'd be all you'd get. And then all of us tinfoil hats would be like, what have we been saying for years? And they go, yeah, but it's not how you lot said it. It's not how you lot said it. No, it's different. It's different. It's different from that. It's different. I barely think it. I mean, they've literally gone on camera and gone, yeah, aliens exist. Obama said it not that long ago. Trump administration is releasing all these files, and no one cares. They don't care. There's a brief minute of worthwhile debate concerning that idea, but it's then dashed aside for religious drivel. That's a bit rude, mate. Insisting that believers in an almighty God would handle previously undocumented creation, little green men, as no big deal, as if accidentally left out of biblical text due to it not having been worthy of additional exploration. If nothing else, the movie proves that religion and benevolent hypothetical creatures don't mix well in cinema. Stargate and Indiana Jones. Right, Stargate, amazing film. Indiana Jones and the Kiss from the Crystal Skull, piss off, didn't happen. Stargate are comparable failures. How dare you? Stargate is an absolute bloody masterpiece. The optimism here is absurd as well, not just from various. I don't know if he's saying that Stargate itself is a failure or that religion and hypothetical creatures don't mix, and Stargate is an example of that. I don't know. He hasn't written that very well. The optimism here is absurd as well, not just from various reactions, but also from levels of doubtful cooperation amid destabilizing knowledge, especially since the modern setting is meant to reflect current global conflicts. This is what I'm talking about. And clashes of disagreements. It's even goofier that the premise proposes that any single organization could keep secrets of such magnitude for nearly 80 years, or the corresponding organizations in other countries wouldn't also have access to similar secrets. Maybe the prejudiced aliens only visit America. Fuck off, you dick. There is reports of alien civilizations and things from all around the world. So what are you talking about? Ancient civilizations. David Icke, again, slag him off all you want. He went and stayed with like these ancient tribes, and they all talked of aliens and Christ, interdimensional beings and all sorts of things. So you're talking shit there, mate. But this is what I'm getting at, right? This is why I'm saying this is like propaganda for normies. Is meant to reflect the current global conflicts and clashes and disagreements. Okay, this is part of the theory again that David Icke talked about, and also those of us that are like down that rabbit hole. This is kind of the point. They will use some kind of existential threat, aliens, okay, the second coming, what the potential of World War III. They're literally doing it, but aliens would be just perfect because it would be separate from the world. It would be so separate from the world that they would be able to use it for every single person on Earth. So It's not, let's say, World War III is just a threat to certain people. This existential threat of aliens would be a potential threat to everyone on the planet. And guess what? We have the solution. That's what they'll do. They will offer you a solution. We will have to learn to live with these alien creatures, these alien overlords. They're obviously far more advanced with us. We've made a deal, we've made a treaty. If we all get digital ID, if we all, whatever it is, connect our hive minds or we stick chips in our brains, whatever it's going to be, they will use that as the solution to the problem. That's what the point of this is. I've even seen, I'll have a look in a minute, see if I can find it, but I can remember the Pope specifically coming out and saying that the discovery of alien life would not discount Christianity. Anyway, I'm not sure I want to read much more of this because that was the point I kind of wanted to make, really. What I find interesting, I know they've always talked about using Project Bluebeam to create alien UFO in the sky or the second coming. Imagine that, like Jesus walking over a mountain or whatever it is. To put the fear of God into everybody. But do you know, I don't think they'd need to use Project Bluebeam. Have you seen some of the work that the drones can do? Can you imagine, like, when there's like a billion of these drones flying around together? Have you seen how detailed some of the things they can do at night? Incredible. Can you imagine the detailed UFO that a load of drones could create? It'd be the easiest thing in the world to knock that up on a computer. So I don't think they need Bluebeam at all. Let's just see if it's it. That's pretty much it. Let's just read the last little bit. Browsing here and there from director Steven Spielberg's own Close Encounters. Disappointing as always when it should be obvious how much the villains want to kill them. Oh dear. As if holding all the answers, yet somehow needing their participation just the same. In fact, the final sequences are so ridiculous that it makes the more than 2 hours that preceded them appear almost entirely unnecessary. Jesus. The worst offender, however, might be the arbitrary races against the clock, which always find personas narrowly fleeing or eluding colliding objects or antagonists, arriving in the nick of time to apprehend the heroes right before they can escape again, of course. It will, however, appeal in some ways to fans of the author, as it utilizes his signature blend of psychological thrills, a few action scenes with harrowing stunts. Wow. In the end, it may have lofty notions, but the storytelling is mundane at best. It never really tries to be something original, unusual, or original. Yeah, because we know this stuff. We know it all. He's just setting up the normies. That's what it is. You know, if you can see the Matrix, you know this stuff already. But those, honestly, those normies out there, they'll be like, "My God, I never knew about this." I'll tell you, it'd be interesting if they mention Project Bluebeam. I bet they don't. I bet they flip it and don't. But maybe they'll call it something else, you know? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I'll tell you what I was just going to do. Honestly, what is going on with this? What is going on? What is going on? Let's just sort that out, guys. I just wanted to quickly see. Just want to quickly see. Pope says aliens. If I can find anything. Pope says aliens. I'll just try it. Let's just try that. There you go. It's look, Pope Francis has not confirmed the existence of aliens, but he famously stated he would be willing to baptize extraterrestrials if they asked. The Vatican's official stance is open to the possibility of extraterrestrial life, emphasizing that the vastness of the universe leaves room for God's creative power. There you go. Discovery of aliens will not discredit Christianity. He's already put that disclaimer in. They are getting ready for it. Church does not close doors to anyone. God's creation is infinitely vast. Look at that, Vatican astronomers. How cool is it? There's a Vatican observatory. Man, we're going down that rabbit hole straight away. Have long expressed scientific belief that life could exist beyond Earth. They note that any thinking, intelligent entity would have a soul. Yeah, they're getting us ready for it. Absolutely getting us ready for it. Pope Francis on aliens. Holy moly. The Catholic thing. Check this out. Oh, man. Now we're getting somewhere. This is awesome. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure I've... Oh, man. Let me get that in shot. I do apologise, guys. Let me get that in shot. There you go. Sorry about that. Let me try that again. Let me try that again. Don't worry, guys. Regular service will be resumed. I just want you to see this. Sorry about that. In an interview, French journalist Caroline Pigozzi of Paris Match brought up NASA's discovery last year of a new planet. Not LV-426, is it? LV-426. Which resembles Earth in its dimensions and characteristics, asking whether there could be thinking beings. Honestly, I wouldn't know how to answer, the Pope replied, explaining that while scientific knowledge has until now excluded the possibility of other thinking beings in the universe, well, that's stupid. Until America was discovered, we thought it didn't exist. Yeah, but no one, what? And instead it existed. That's a really bad analogy. But in every case, I think we should stick to what the scientists tell us, follow the science. Still aware that the Creator is infinitely greater than our knowledge, Francis said that one thing he is sure about in the universe and the world in which we live in is that it is not the result of chance or chaos, but rather of divine intelligence. Interesting. 2015. Let's have a quick look. It'll probably be the same thing. I'll have a quick look. I wonder how many pop-ups I'll get. Ready? 3. Do aliens exist? Pope Francis responds in new interview. NASA's Curiosity Mars. Do you know, I just never trust these pictures. I know we're going down the rabbit hole now, but I never trust these pictures. I really don't, because to me, they always look how you'd imagine a planet to look. That's what I always think. That why does it always look like Nebraska? Why does it always look like that the whole planet is just made up of like rock and bits? It never looks any different. It's always like that. Yeah, I'm very suspicious. Pope Francis discussed in a new interview topics ranging from his reasons for canonizing. What? Look, on his thoughts whether there could be life on other planets. That's all I want to know. Oh, God. The journalist brought up NASA's discovery last year of the planet. Asked, right, I think it's the same answer. Honestly, I wouldn't know how to answer. Explaining that while scientific knowledge has until now excluded the possibility of other thinking beings. No, that's it, really. That's it. Oh, well. So there you go, guys. A little bit of interesting-ish. A few things about Disclosure Day. And, well, you never thought you were going to get the Pope's stance on aliens, did you? Anyway, that's what I wanted to have a little bit rant about. I've got no interest. Do you know, I've almost got interested in seeing this Disclosure Day to see how close it is to the propaganda, but absolutely no interest in actually seeing it as a form of entertainment whatsoever. Yeah, when a few more reviews come in, some normal people reviews, some normie reviews, we'll have a look at those. But until then, take it easy. And let me know down below in the comments. Like and subscribe. See you again soon, guys.